Hello, on this video I'm gonna give you a brief introduction to C++ classes. So first I'm gonna open Visual Studio and then I'm gonna create a new project. I'm gonna search here for C++ and then I'm gonna click on Console App. Click on Next. I'm gonna name this Video Class, and now I end up with this project. I'm gonna delete some of the comments right here, and after that I'm gonna run this program just to make sure it runs properly, and it does. It just displayed the hello world there. So now I'm gonna create a class. There are many ways to create a class. I'm gonna show you the way that I like. So I'm gonna right click on resource files. If you don't see the Solution Explorer, go to View and then click on Solution Explorer. So I'm gonna right click on source files and then add a class. I'm gonna name this class the car class and then click OK. And Visual Studio creates two files for you. One is the CPP file, the car.cpp, and the other one is car.h. So these two files make up your class. The H file is your header file, and then CPP file is your implementation file. So let's take a look on the header file first. So here inside this class, I can declare the variables and I can declare the functions. So I'm going to start by declaring a variable. I'm going to create a variable called int age. When I create the int age, by default, it makes the age private. If a item in your class is private, then that item can be seen only by the class and nothing else. If an item is public, it can be seen by your class and by other classes as well. And then finally we have protected. Protected is a mix of private and public. So let's create this as a private for now. So I have nothing, so therefore it's private. But if I want to put the private label here, then it would not change anything because this is like exactly the same thing as this. Now I like to keep the private right here just because it feels like it's more organized. And then right here I'm gonna use the public, and then everything that you put right here will be public. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. So here's my class, and if I want to instantiate an object, I can. So right here on the main, I'm gonna instantiate an object type car. All right, so to do that, I'm gonna put car and then C equals new car. So this is how I instantiate an object. However, if you look right here, I have a red squiggly, and red squiggly means it cannot compile. There's a problem. So the problem right here is that it doesn't know what car is. So I have to tell the program which car that is. And to do that, I'm going to include the car. So now I include the car, and now the red squiggly goes away. So car is the class, C is the object. And so line 8, I instantiate a object that I named lowercase c from the class called car. So now if I want to access the int age, I can't because it's private. So this main program cannot access the private member. So if I try to access the private member from the car class, it's gonna give me an error. Now it's giving me an error right here on the cout, so I'm gonna hover over and then show potential fixes, and I'm gonna add the user namespace standard. So it adds this line for me. And now I end up with this error right here, and it says it is inaccessible. And the reason it's inaccessible is because this thing here is a private. So if I move this to the public and I try to access that again, now it works. It works because this age is now public. So if I try to run the program, it works. It prints 0 because there's no value, but we can assign a value to it, and then it prints the 21 here for me. All right, so now we know the difference between the private and the public. I'm gonna move this back to private. Once I do that, I'm gonna have an error right here. So I'm gonna delete this line so my program runs. And now I want to create a function right here that prints the age. So I'm going to create here a voids show age, and this is a function. So this function right here, you cannot use it yet because it's not implemented. So let's implement this function. If you remember the car.cpp, this is your implementation file. The car.h is our header file. So all definitions go on your class, car class, and all implementation go to the CPP. Now you can implement it here, but for me it feels more organized if all implementation is on the CPP. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna hover over here, then show potential fixes, and then I'm gonna create the definition of show age in car.cpp. So when I click here, Visual Studio creates this function for me. It types for me automatically. So let's take a look on this function here. So the first thing that we see is the car and then column. So what this means is everything here inside this function will have access to the car header class. So if I don't put this thing here, it still works. However, if I want to print the age, it's going to give me some errors. So let's fix the cout first. Hover over, show potential fixes, and including IO stream that fix the cout. Then I want to do the same thing again, and I want to add the using namespace standard. So that fix the cout. But it still doesn't find the age. So I'm gonna show potential fixes right here. And then it tells me here, hey, do you wanna change the age to car age? And I'm gonna say yes. So this does not work. But if I put it right here, now it works. So you have to tell the function which class it's implementing. So it's implementing the car function. This function, show age, is a public function, and that public function is accessing a private variable. So now let me run this program, and I'm gonna call the show age function from the main, and then that's gonna print the private age variable. So if I run the program, I get 21. So now right here in the class, you can create a private function if you want to, and this private function, I want to do the same trick, show potential fixes, and create a definition of show age in car.cpp. The Visual Studio creates this function for me, and then this function here is private. Show age is a private function, so that means, and I cannot call the show age to function because it's not accessible. So I'm gonna put it back to show age. All right, so I want to edit the show age. So you can go to the car.cpp, or you can do a right click here and then go to definition. So the definition is where you write the code for show age, and then I want the show age should be displayed on the show age 2, and then I want, remember, this is a private function, and this one here is a public function. So I want this public function to call the private function. Well, that's easy. I'm gonna put this and then show age 2. So then car, the show age function, which is public, will call the private function. So that's okay. Remember, if a member of that class is private, it can be accessed by the functions from that class. So now I'm gonna run this program, and voila, 21 shows up right there. All right, so the whole point of this video is there are many ways for you to create a class. This is one of them. It's the way that I find the most organized. You do have your header file with your implementation. You can create variables and functions. There are 3 access levels. One is private, the other one is public, the other one is protected. I did not use protected here on this video. I just showed private and public. The other thing is that our implementation is done on the CPP. And the last thing to keep from this video is that the main program or any other class cannot access the private members of the car class. It can access the public members. Now the public members of this class here can access the private members. All right, so that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.